pretty sure we're live, and you're looking at your phone.
Nope. It says we're live.
We're running behind today. Thank you for patiently waiting. Hi.
What's up, everybody?
It's good to see you.
Can I get in here a little bit?
No. We're sitting on a table instead of a chair.
There.
2 little people.
All I gotta do is turn the...
We'll call it a love chair, kind of like a love seat.
But it's a table.
It's
a love table?
I wonder if we could go through and look at our previous Talk About It Tuesdays and find out. I'm just finishing science fair this week, so I'm breaking everything down into like quantitative data. I wonder what percentage of Talk About It Tuesday videos we are wearing black. I feel like it's the only color we ever wear.
I mean,
I think we're wearing black in our sticker. Has everybody? I don't know if anybody's seen. We had stickers drawn of ourselves. You could see the Niesmans.
We did not.
Oh, we didn't draw it.
Rachel
No, God,
had
no.
It done.
I had it done. And
she had cartoons made.
We're very, very much wearing black in our cartoons. I'm going to check and make sure that our Facebook stream is working and we're up. Why don't you introduce us?
Everybody knows who we are now.
No. What is this?
Jerry and Rachel
Crazy
Niesman.
hands.
I'm Jerry.
Rachel.
Is that like up my nose? I'm Jerry.
It's weird. Like
that's Rachel.
I have to like close my eyes.
And
we are the Niesman
We're the
team.
Niesman team at Keller Williams Realty.
We are indeed.
Here in Southwest Florida.
Yes, and when we tell people the coverage area, I think it's even on the back of our business cards. It says we serve from Sarasota to Marco.
Yeah, like
it's
Sarasota,
our service
Bradenton,
areas.
Lakewood Ranch area.
Down south to Naples Marco Island. But we are, so listen, I feel like we need to do a series of the pros and cons of living in each of these smaller little cities because it can get confusing. I feel like a lot of people watching, especially those who are watching on our YouTube channel, it's the Niesman Team, people call us and ask us all the time, and most people are coming here from somewhere else to live, coming from outside of Florida, I guess I'm trying to say. And they're not always familiar with like the minute details of like what's the difference between Nort Fort Myers and Bonita.
One side of the river versus the other.
But we're gonna get into that. We'll break down like Punta Gorda, Port Charlotte, Northport, and we'll talk about Lehigh Acres, Cape Coral. We're going to start. This is the first of the series of pros and cons of living in insert city here.
So you planned this all out.
I did plan this all out.
Are we starting? I mean, we're starting in Nort Fort Myers, so we're like starting in the middle. So are we going to like go one north, one south, one north, one south, and like get further and further away from the center?
I don't know. I just know that because it's science fair week in our house, I had much less research time than I normally do. And I live in Nort Fort Myers, and that's why I picked Nort Fort Myers to start.
Didn't have to do research.
Listen, we're the Real Talk Real Estate Team, right? That's our whole shtick. Real Talk. I felt like this was the one that I knew the best and would be able to respond. And also that we... a lot of times we get together and like discuss Talk About It Tuesday before, and I'm like, ooh, teach me, tell me. But like this one, I figured we could wing it because we've lived here since when?
2013 in Nort Fort Myers.
And it's 2021. So we've lived in Nort Fort Myers for
7.5 years.
Hang in there with me, Matt.
Just short of 7.5 years.
Fast on that. My goodness.
Well, 2013 to 2020, we moved in December. Okay. So we were at the end of 2013. Perfect. So it's really like, yeah.
So not only have we lived here, but we also help people buy homes here.
Actually, 6.5 years. I went forward and backwards. Either way. 6.5 years. You've got a black screen. You're not even doing anything.
Let me get my calculator out.
It
adds up to, you don't know what you're talking about. All right, so let's break it down. Pros and cons of living in Nort Fort Myers. Here is my stellar research that I've done about Nort Fort Myers itself. It is north in Lee County. So tell me, break down for everybody the counties that we cover so it goes.
So it's very cleverly described
Sarasota.
as north of Fort Myers.
Yes. Okay. So that's exactly right. North Fort Myers is in the north end. Is it the most north Lee County city? I think so.
Well, yeah, North Fort Myers and Cape Coral are like the very western part of northern Lee County.
Let's drop North Fort Myers onto the grid for our people. North of North Fort Myers, you go into Punta Gorda,
which is Charlotte County.
Directly west of North Fort Myers is Cape Coral. East of North Fort Myers is Alva, which is where you start to turn into the Everglades. In my world, farmland.
Starts getting to
agricultural Central Florida. Yep, yeah. Away from the beach. So, and then south of us is what?
Fort Myers.
It's Fort Myers. I sometimes call it South Fort Myers, which south is it's not
South Fort Myers is like
south in Fort Myers.
Like from Daniel south.
Right. So Fort Myers is appropriately called Fort Myers.
Yes.
It is south of North Fort Myers, but
correct.
North Fort Myers is the actual, like, gotta write it out of the USPS.
Yes.
North Fort Myers.
But it is not a city.
It is not a city.
It is an unincorporated area of Lee County.
There you go. And let's talk about numbers a little bit. They don't have the 2021 census results from what I could find, or the 2020 census results from what I could find. So the newest data I have is 10 years old. So it's going to be
2010.
I don't know, man. That's all they do. Is
wow, people moved here since then.
I guess, but in 2010 census, we were at 39,000 people in North Fort Myers, and comparatively, Fort Myers had 62,000 at the time, and Cape Coral had 154,000.
So those are permanent full-time residents.
And so
people who call this their primary home.
There are less people in North Fort Myers than in Fort Myers proper or in Cape Coral for sure. The dividing line is the Caloosahatchee River. That's the official north to south dividing line. There's a river that runs through Fort Myers called the Caloosahatchee River. And there are several bridges to bridge the gap between the river to get you into North Fort Myers.
Several. 2.
So.
Then there's 2 other bridges that go into Cape Coral.
I think you're wrong.
I'm not.
There's the 41 bridge and the old 41 bridge and the bridge out here.
Oh, and 75 and 31. Okay. All right. She's right.
Several.
She's right. I'm wrong. There's 4.
Right. Yes.
And then there's 2 into Cape Coral.
Yes, and then there are bridges to go into Cape Coral.
Because the river curves.
Yep. So there's one exit off the I-75, which is the big interstate that runs the entire length of Florida, and it's exit 143, Bayshore Road. You also have that go the same direction, north-south, just like the 75. You have 41, which is a very famous, it used to be the highway, right? Before 75 was built,
yep.
Everybody took 41, and it also goes up and down. It's
north-south.
It goes north-south.
Until you get all down to South Naples, and then it cuts east-west.
Right, and then follows like 75 Alligator Alley. And I think it eventually takes you over to Miami, right? Fort Lauderdale.
It's known as the Tamiami Trail, which is connects Tampa to Miami.
Beautiful. It is North Fort Myers is 54 square miles, and 7% of that land is not land, it's water. Let's talk about a few of the favorite landmarks, highlights, favorite things to do in North Fort Myers, and then we'll get into the nitty-gritty of what it's like to live here. So lots of beautiful preserves. There's lots of, I call it hiking, but Florida's flat if you don't live here.
Off-road walking trails.
There's lots of paved or boardwalked walking trails through trees and mangroves, and you can ride bicycles. There's bike paths. There are horse trails all over North Fort Myers. So North Fort Myers is more agricultural or more country than Fort Myers is. That's one of the biggest differences.
More acreage property.
There you go. That's a great way of saying it. One thing that is I think is really cool.
Horses, cows, farms.
Exactly right. Yes.
Pigs, goats, chickens.
I always tell people that living in North Fort Myers is living on the edge of nowhere. So when you start going east of North Fort Myers into Alva and what we said, the center of Florida, that's when you start getting into nowhere, Florida, where you have to travel really far to go to regular places like Publix, which is the local grocery store that everybody loves, Walmart, Starbucks. Those things become harder to find. Here in North Fort Myers, you are on the edge of civility. So there's plenty of those things that I just said, like there's an AMC movie theater in North Fort Myers, Walmart, Publix, access to restaurants, access to both like small businesses, as well as chains like whatever. You can find that kind of stuff. It's on the edge of nowhere. It's really cool. There's the Shell Factory, which is a North Fort Myers institution.
Been around for like 200 years, it seems like.
The Shell Factory is a
little bit of everything.
Shopping, entertainment area. They have animals that you could see. They have a little dinosaur park.
Small zoo, dinosaur park.
A little baby zip line. It's like whatever
amusement rides.
So think of an amusement park, but crank it down your image from a 10 to like a 2. And that's, but you go shopping, they got shells, they got restaurants, there's a Subway, there's all sorts of stuff. They also have North Fort Myers Rec Center, which is a great free, it's in the same plaza as the North Fort Myers Library, which both are great free institutions offered by our unincorporated government. I was going to say unincorporated city, but that's not a thing. So
Lee County.
Yeah, so it's got free Tai Chi, free yoga classes. They do Zumba classes. You could get gym memberships. You pay one $25 flat fee, and you're a lifetime member of the North Fort Myers Rec Center when you live here. So that's a really nice choice. I think that one of my favorite things is the Echo Global Farms. If anybody knows about it, it is a nonprofit organization that has land out in North Fort Myers designed for figuring out how to make plants grow in different climates to help feed more people around the world. It's really incredible. You can get they offer tours. You can wander through there. You can buy stuff from there. It's really cool. If you haven't checked it out, check it out. There are also some newer things that many people don't know about. Springtime Farm Adventure Park, which has like the jumpy things and a petting zoo for kids. It's a great place to go hang out with toddler to our 10, 12-year-olds will still enjoy going there and enjoying themselves. There's a Revolution Aqua Park, which is...
We need to go check it out.
I know, we haven't been there. Maybe we'll do a video about it, but there's also a lot more.
It's a so like a wakeboarding, water skiing park. It's set up on a huge lake, and there's like a tow line that runs around the lake and tows you around, and they have like all kinds of jumps and rails and stuff like that.
So let's talk about some of the pros and cons of, one of my biggest pros about North Fort Myers over the city surrounding us. So, you're talking Punta Gorda, Punta Gorda, Cape Coral, Fort Myers are typically the ones that people are comparing to, right? Don't you feel like you're either looking at North Fort Myers, Cape Coral, Fort Myers area, or you jump south to Estera, Bonita, Naples.
Yep.
Or you go north to Punta Gorda, Port Charlotte, Northport.
Yep.
It's like those are the bundles. And then if you
go...
Yeah, and so when you compare it to those three, Cape Coral, Fort Myers, North Fort Myers, I feel like North Fort Myers has the most small town, family, wholesome feeling to it. What is your opinion on that?
Probably pretty close. I mean, you go east and go to Alva or go to,
sure,
like those areas, you're gonna feel it too. Punta Gorda, I would say, is pretty small town feel still,
sure,
but it depends on where in Punta Gorda as well.
We've also found that many of the North Fort Myers schools, our kids attend public school at the North Fort Myers school system. It's the Lee County public school system, but we stay in North Fort Myers schools, have a great small town school feeling. They love parents as volunteers, and their slogans like be kind, be respectful, and it's like a bumblebee is there. It's the cutest, sweetest, small town kind of feeling that I found in the surrounding cities to us. But then I also like that it seems like we also have a very diverse community in terms of all sorts of age groups. You'll find everybody from young families to like middle-aged snowbirds to full-on retirees who live here full-time in small little communities here in North Fort Myers. I feel like it really runs the gamut. Some places in Southwest Florida are designed to cater to the older crowd, 55 plus communities, or
which we have quite a few of here in North Fort Myers.
It does exist where you can live in a community that's 55 plus and then come live on the edge of nowhere and go to the movie theater and still see lots of young families and stuff like that. But you aren't obligated to live in those because there's plenty of non-gated communities. That's another pro that I have. So what do you think the split is? Like what percentage of homes do you think are in an HOA gated community versus
in North Fort Myers?
In North Fort Myers, strictly. Just a ballpark idea.
Probably.
From what you've seen. 10 years, 11 years selling houses.
25%, maybe 30% inside a gated community versus 70 to 75% outside.
What do you think it is in Fort Myers?
I mean, it might be a little bit higher than that because when you talk about the 55 plus communities, like there's a lot of homes because they're like the majority of the 55 plus communities here in North Fort Myers are manufactured home communities. So very small lots,
densely populated, like homes, there's lots of small homes.
So it might be a little higher than that. But somewhere in that ballpark. But compared to Fort Myers, where
it's a huge difference.
The majority of Fort Myers, it's probably like the opposite. It's
I would say 70,
more
80%.
Like 65%
gated community.
65 to 70% gated community
versus
in Fort Myers.
30-35% without HOA gated community rules and restrictions. Cape Coral, when we talk about that, this will be on the list of their pros as well because there's a lot of Cape Coral. Almost all of Cape Coral is not HOA gated communities. So if you're looking for something that doesn't have those rules and restrictions, keep your search to Cape Coral and North Fort Myers and you have a much better time of finding that. Lots of great outdoor space and like
bigger lots.
Right. I mean, lots of people here have land. What do you think is the average, tell me about the average lot size for like Fort Myers gated communities. How is it described? I don't know anything about this.
The majority of like your HOA type, the communities where you have HOAs, they're buying a big parcel of land and then they're developing it and they try to fit as many homes as possible in there. So your average lot size in those is going to be under 2/10 of an acre.
So 2/10 of an acre.
0.14 acres to like 0.21, 0.22 acres. So under a quarter acre for sure, but less than 2/10 usually.
And it is not uncommon to find quarter acre parcels plus in North Fort Myers, right?
Yeah, I would say more than that. I mean, this is where you're going to find most of your acreage property.
Right.
I mean, we're in a neighborhood where you have everybody's on between a half acre and an acre and a half.
Yeah,
and just past our neighborhood, everything is 5 acres plus.
Right.
Mostly 5 to 20 acre
we
parcels.
live in a North Fort Myers neighborhood, which there are many of them that are neighborhoods great for like trick or treating with kids and families. Lots of cul-de-sac streets or butt up to water, the Caloosahatchee River but it's not like HOA gated, deed restricted. Everybody just kind of minds their own business, does what they want. They park in their yard if they want to. They don't tell you what kind of mailbox what color to paint your mailbox. And everybody's got like Jerry just said, like a quarter, half acre to an acre. And yeah, it's roomy. People got room to do things. And I think that's true of like some of the outdoor spaces. Like I was saying, there's a lot of great preserves and walking spaces. There's a lot of nice things to do outdoors that aren't your typical Fort Myers beach things to do, if that makes sense.
Yes, it does.
So if you're like
me
and you don't adore the beach, I don't love going to the beach. I would much rather go hiking on my Saturday than go to the beach on a Saturday and fight with traffic and the like. Yeah, North Fort Myers might be a nice spot for you. Tell me about unincorporated. That means we don't pay city taxes? How does that work?
We're not in a
what
city,
does that mean?
So you don't pay city taxes. You just pay county property taxes.
So is it cheaper? Is North Fort Myers cheaper than Fort Myers?
Taxes are cheaper. Oh, Gussie finally found
our dog
found his way into the video. So when you're unincorporated Lee County, you pay Lee County property taxes. You don't pay any city property taxes because you're not in a city.
Right.
So the benefits are it's less expensive. The downside is you don't get city services.
Okay.
So you don't have city police department. You don't have city fire department. You don't have city emergency medical services.
Okay.
You have the county services.
Ooh,
or the local fire districts.
You say bye-bye, you say bye-bye.
So we have, for our law enforcement, we have the Lee County Sheriff's Department.
Okay.
So
it's not like you don't have those things.
No, you still have law enforcement. You have less of it though, because if you're in Fort Myers,
yes, you
have the Fort Myers City Police Department plus Lee County.
Yes.
And so you pay for those services. So we're paying, so in you have the Fort Myers Police or the Fort Myers Fire Department, where here we have the Bayshore Fire District. So there's fewer stations, fewer firefighters. Some of the firefighters are part-time, versus all of them being full-time.
I have an interesting question for you.
So your insurance can be a little bit higher sometimes when you're in unincorporated areas because of that.
But don't we save in North Fort Myers on flood insurance in a lot of places?
No, we pay flood insurance on our house.
Never mind.
Don't forget flood insurance because almost everywhere in Florida is in a flood zone. But no, flood insurance is based more on elevation versus proximity to water. I mean, I've sold homes that are on Gulf access canals that don't require flood insurance because the land is elevated high enough above the water that they don't have to worry about it. So,
you ready for my question?
What's your question?
I've heard of some cities around the United States that are optioning its citizens into a small additional fee every month on one of their utility bills, like electric bill, water bill, whatever.
For
$5 to $15 a month.
For what?
And when you opt in, it allows you and anybody at your household to get EMS and emergency transport, like ambulance rides, for free. Like you never pay any medical expenses.
Well, it's not for free because you're paying for it monthly.
Yes, and you can opt in. It's something that they're not
an optional service. Interesting. So instead of them sending you a $3,000 bill for the ambulance ride if you have a heart attack, they come and pick you up, and you've paid for it monthly.
$120 a month, and you're helping cover the cost of people who need it immediately.
Interesting.
And I thought it was interesting. All right, so I think that's all of my pros. Let's talk about some cons. What are some downsides? Oh, I also put that you can be close to the 75 and the 41 in different parts of Fort Myers or North Fort Myers, and it's the free bridge to Cape Coral. We got free access to Cape Coral when most people. It's
not technically in Cape Coral. It's so the two bridges in and out of Cape Coral are toll bridges.
Yes.
The bridge, the 41 bridge, is the closest bridge to. No, not the 41 bridge. Is it? Yeah, no, right? That's 41.
The closest bridge is the 41.
Yeah, the Edison Bridge.
Yes.
Or the Hancock
Bridge.
That
goes down through downtown.
Yeah, it
Fort
goes
Myers.
through downtown. And so that one is just on the North Fort Myers side of the river. So you go into North Fort Myers, but you're right next to the east edge of Cape Coral.
So let me tell you, if you're thinking about moving to Southwest Florida and you have a job in Cape Coral, looking Cape Coral or North Fort Myers. To get in and out from Fort Myers to Cape Coral, I know a lot of people stress about their day and their commute because to go over the 2 bridges during season, during rush hour, like work days, it's miserable. It takes a long time. You could add on a long addition to your commute. All right, cons. What do we got for, so my biggest con in North Fort Myers is all you people who are finding out about it and moving here. Because,
good thing you're telling them about it.
Because now it's getting built up and now it's getting to be more traffic. Now it's getting to be like, I've never ever had to wait at a stop sign before this year. Wait for a stop sign to turn right or left.
That's because they just built a new neighborhood.
That's because they're building, because all you people, I know, it's because, so the only con is it's losing some of its small town, edge of nowhere feel. Hopefully they'll be able to keep up the infrastructure.
That's the cost of
being so good.
Development and growing.
Yes.
That's just life.
There's still no, to my knowledge, there's no North Fort Myers Starbucks.
No, technically it's in Cape
Coral. It's the closest
right on
one.
the edge.
It is right on the edge. It's like 90 seconds outside of North Fort Myers, but it's on the other end of North Fort Myers for me. So that's and then there is the only other con that I could think of is you are going to miss out on a lot of the traditional touristy things. When I think of what people visit Southwest Florida for, things like the Miramar outlets, all the beaches, go out on boats, parasailing, that kind of stuff, you're not going to get it in North Fort Myers. But it's a great place to live.
No, in North Fort Myers, you get horseback riding, you get fishing,
horseback riding, fishing, hiking, walking, bicycle riding. The rodeo comes here. Also,
kayaking, canoeing,
the big boating. Convention center in Southwest Florida. I think it's the biggest outside of when you start going down to Hertz Arena down in Estero.
Yep.
But if you're talking close to Fort Myers, Cape Coral, North Fort Myers, we have the convention center, so that's where the county fair comes to. That's where the gun and knife show comes to. Let's keep it on the North Fort Myers.
Every 6 weeks.
That's where the rodeo comes to.
No, the rodeo's down the street.
It is down. It's down the street from.
It's like in between our house and the
convention center. But and what about for you? Any other pros and cons that you think I've missed?
No, I think that pretty much covers it.
Things you don't love about living in North Fort Myers.
Youth baseball would be a pro, right?
Oh, youth sports. Of course. I think that goes in with that small town community.
At the rec center, that's where we help run the North Fort Myers Babers baseball league.
Lots of great places to volunteer. We found great volunteer opportunities here in North Fort Myers.
Just got to come say hi again.
And so, yeah, great parks, great outdoor activities. Thank you so much for joining us. I think that's it. We're going to be back next week with pros and cons of living in Cape Coral.
Woohoo!
So we're gonna head to the west. You want to say hello and goodbye?
No.
Bye, everybody. Bye. I guess we're getting bombarded with kids and dogs and everything. Look, you're gonna represent North Nation. That's what North. Go North Fort Myers. Thank you guys for watching. Let us know if you have any questions. 239-201-9583. I got there. Jerry Niesman at gmail.com. Bye, everybody. Thank you. Bye. I gotta do the thing.